Welcome back. As promised, we have two gentlemen joining us now to talk about this home improvement theme that has really played out and whether IKEA could pose a bit of a hurdle for the sector and for many players involved. So let's get two gentlemen on board. Ashok Kajaria, the Chairman and Managing Director at Kajaria Ceramics, and Sandeep Somani, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director at HSIL. Both these companies have been doing exceptionally well and have bounced back quite a bit from the lockdown lows. Mr. Kajaria, I want to start with you. In terms of this whole home improvement theme playing out, the general consensus view is that now in this post-COVID era, people are working from home more, so they prefer to sort of, either move into bigger homes or own their own home. This will, of course, lead to more demand. Are you noticing that? And if you can just quantify that for us in terms of numbers, what is the demand situation right now compared to what it was, say, about 3 months ago?
See, the residential market is very strong, and especially from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 towns. The demand is very, very positive after the lockdown. Once the lockdowns, this normal business started sometime around middle of June, things have been very positive. In the earlier months, we thought it's a pent-up demand, but looking at the last 5 months, July, August, September, October, November, the demand continues to be positive, more so from tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 towns. Tier 1 was very disruptive for the first few months, but effective from 1st of October, things have started looking up in tier 1 towns also. They are back to 60 to 70% of what they were before. And tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 towns are almost 100 to 110% of what it was before.
Okay. Yeah. So, Mr. Kajaria, good morning. Which is why I was surprised, in the post Q2 call, you had told us that you were expecting flat volumes in Q3. But given how Q3 is played out and we are seeing such bullish commentary from the housing side of the market, does it mean substantially better volumes for you now in the second half? Will you upgrade that guidance or that commentary?
First of all, we are very confident about quarter 3. Quarter 4 as it is will be better because as we are all aware, quarter 4, the March month was literally washed out because of the lockdown. And we are feeling that it should be much better than what we had thought on all fronts. The future looks also very positive, and especially the branded players are doing very well. After the lockdown, things are much better for the branded players. They are doing very well in the domestic market, and Morbi and Himmatnagar players are very positive on the export front. The exports have also gone up from the country in the last 3 months.
Okay.
September, October and November, the exports have gone up by almost 40% than what it was last year.
Okay. Well, let me toss the same question to Mr. Somani of HSIL. Mr. Somani, if you can just describe the demand to us for the 9 months. Is the demand looking better than the 9 months of last year? Have you all been able to make up for the lost time in the first quarter?
Well, good morning, Lata, and thank you for having me over. The first few months of this year were complete washout because of the lockdown and the severity of it. But what we find is that October has been better than October 19. November 20 has been better than November 19.
Oh.
So month on month, we are improving. We have not yet caught up in our ceramic business to our last year figures because of the, as I said, because of the lockdown for 3 months earlier, where there was zero business, 2 months was zero revenue. But we are hopeful that things are going to improve month on month, and we are coming into our best season. Historically, the third quarter and after that, the fourth quarter are much better months for us because all the distributors, dealers try and finish their targets, and therefore material offtake is much better. So I think we are in for better times, and definitely March, the fourth quarter will be much better because March was a write-off because whole thing was closed down around the 22nd, 23rd of the month, and we really the last few days are very crucial for dispatches.
Okay,
so
no, Mr. Somani, the question to you is not only tiles. I mean, I meant your entire suite of products. Sanitary ware products.
So
I'll tell you why. The street is, the investors are very much taken by this home improvement theme that people want better houses because of work from home for various reasons. Therefore, and there's also a pickup in real estate. So therefore, as a whole, do you think that you're in the start of a fairly decent rise in demand?
Yeah, so thank you, Lata, for that. So I was talking when this earlier reply of mine was for the ceramic sector. If you come to our other portfolio of businesses in the group, we have a very strong position in the consumer sector. Where we are in kitchen products, kitchen renovation, air purifiers, water purifiers. That business is booming now. In fact, we have crossed last year's sales numbers in the month of November. So cumulatively, in spite of the lockdown, we have now crossed that number. We see a very, very sharp increase in home improvement products because these are products which can be put in much quicker than, let's say, bathroom tiles or sanitary which need a lot more labor. These can be replaced in a few hours by a technician who comes in and puts in the new product. And there we have seen, particularly in the kitchen space, which is housed under our company, Somani Home Innovation Limited, significant growth in demand because consumers are spending probably in the last 20, 30, 40 years, nobody has spent so much time in their homes. And, people are enjoying cooking, rediscovering cooking. So the kitchen space has become very exciting. And we are the second largest producers there in the country. And we have seen significant re-emergence in demand there. And I think we will be, at the end of the year, close to 15-20% positive. So I think that space is playing out very well.
Okay, got that. I actually wanted to also talk to Mr. Kajaria about a report that I read that CRISIL put out saying that exports to key markets such as the US and the UK, which contribute currently about 9% of the overall ceramic tile exports, is expected to grow at a 50% pace following the anti-dumping duty imposed by the US on Chinese tiles. Is there a big export potential according to you, Mr. Kajaria, and what would that mean, say, for a company like yours?
You're absolutely correct. You see, the bigger players are not exporting much, like Kajaria, Somani, Johnson. We are not exporting much. We are more in the domestic market, but Morbi and Himmatnagar are exporting much. Their exports have gone up by almost 40%, as I said earlier, because of the proximity to the port. And the exports will further go up as we go along because of the anti-dumping duty put by USA and Europe also. So the exports scenario is also very, very positive. And there are almost 50 plants coming in Morbi. They are more looking towards exports because of the export demand which has come in the last 6 months or 8 months.
Okay. Gentlemen, we're in the final leg of this discussion, so it's important for us to talk numbers. That's what investors want to know. So let's pull up the trail data. On the revenue front, I mean, Kajaria, for instance, has been doing 2,700 in FY18, moved to about 2,900. Then there was a minor dip in FY20. The revenue came marginally lower. I mean, it's just about 50 crores lower. So now, given the disruption this year and an equally strong recovery, Mr. Kajaria, top line growth, FY21-22, what's the run rate? And also just a word on margins because, input costs seem to be going up. Is that a worry for you?
See, numbers not prudent for me to talk right now, but I can tell you that things are much more positive. The top line will be slightly lower because of the, as Sandeep said, my dear friend, that because first quarter was a literally washout. The bottom line is much better for 2-3 reasons. One, the gas prices in the earlier months have come down. It still has come down compared to last year. It's slightly higher for the months of November and December, but it will be made up by full production, which we are doing right now. On all fronts, you will find positive for the rest of the 6 months.
Okay. Well, similar question to you, Mr. Somani. Your guidance was already very strong. You said you will end up 15% higher than last year. Last year, I think you all finished revenues at 1,859 crores.
Yes, so our, the businesses are housed in multiple companies.
Of course.
So if you take
consolidated.
So consolidated, it becomes a bit, it's a bit difficult, and I don't think we should be talking. But Shill, for example, Somani Home Innovation will come back with a strong profit growth and revenue growth. And in terms of Hindware, we'll have a slight growth in terms of HSIL, and also similar. I think we should be able to more or less get to the profit that we had last time because the emerging quarters will be quite strong. Next year, I think 21-22, both companies will have significant growth, both in revenue as well as in profits.
Okay. Fine, we'll leave it at that. Mr. Sandeep Somani and Mr. Kajaria, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for hosting us.
Thank you.
Have a great 2021, both of you. Well, before we wind up the discussion, let's look at the past 3 years' data for Kajaria first, revenue, and then you'll have the EBITDA coming up for you as well. Surabhi, of course, discussed the trend. And finally, look at profit after tax as well. This is how it's been going. Not the margins clearly have been under pressure. That's profit after tax, but they are expecting to do better in FY21. And now it will come up for HSIL as well. Remember, in HSIL, they have a subsidiary which is not included in this, but this is the revenue picture.
There was a demerger